Welcome to our deep dive, into the world of urban agriculture.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be exploring some fascinating material from the USDA.
Okay.
Think like press releases, program descriptions,
Mm-hmm.
even fact sheets
Wow.
that show how this field is like blossoming in
Really?
some really incredible ways. So
Okay.
get ready to have your preconceived notions about, where your food comes from
Hmm.
totally flipped on their head.
It's amazing how much this field has grown,
I know, right?
even just in the past few years.
Yeah,
This isn't just about a few tomato plants on a rooftop anymore.
right.
The USDA is clearly committed to making urban agriculture a key part of our food systems.
Absolutely. Speaking of commitment,
Yeah.
did you see that the USDA just announced a whopping $14.4 million investment
Oh,
in urban agriculture and innovative production?
I did see that.
That's a serious chunk of change.
It is. And what's interesting is how they're splitting that funding. A portion of it, $2.5 million, is dedicated to the Urban Agriculture and Innovative Production, or UAIP grants program.
Okay.
This provides seed money for projects like community gardens and nonprofit farms that are boosting food production and access in cities and suburbs.
You remember that school district in Wisconsin we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
They used UAIP funds to build a hydroponic system right in their school.
How cool is that?
It's providing students with fresh food and hands-on learning about sustainable agriculture.
That's a fantastic example of how these grants can have a ripple effect, benefiting both the immediate community and the next generation of urban growers.
And it's not just about funding projects. The USDA is putting boots on the ground with $11.9 million
Wow.
dedicated to hiring urban agriculture conservation extension educators.
What?
That's like having a personal agricultural advisor right in your city.
Exactly. These educators will be stationed in 27 cities across the U.S. They'll be working directly with urban producers, connecting them with resources, helping them navigate complex city regulations, and promoting climate-smart practices.
That's awesome.
Plus, they're creating an impact collaborative to share what they learn and expand their reach beyond those initial cities.
So even if my city isn't on that initial list,
Right.
I could still benefit from their expertise down the line.
Exactly.
That's really encouraging. But I have to ask, when the USDA talks about urban agriculture,
Yeah.
what exactly are they picturing? Is it just rows of raised beds in a vacant lot?
It's so much more than that. The USDA's definition is surprisingly broad.
Okay.
They're looking at the entire process,
Okay.
cultivating, processing, and distributing food in both urban and suburban settings.
So we're talking rooftop farms, vertical farms with those incredible towers of plants growing indoors,
Uh-huh.
and even systems that use fish to fertilize plants.
Yes,
That's called aquaponics, right?
you got it. And it gets even more interesting. Some tribal communities and smaller towns are also eligible for urban agriculture programs.
Wow.
The focus is really on bringing fresh, locally grown food to wherever people live.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this goes way beyond just a few backyard gardens.
Right.
But why is the USDA pouring so much effort into this?
Ooh.
I mean, beyond the obvious benefits of having fresh food readily available?
It's about creating a more resilient food system.
Okay.
One that's less reliant on long, complex supply chains that can be easily disrupted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it goes deeper than that. Urban agriculture can be a powerful tool for community revitalization.
More jobs, better access to healthy food, a chance to bring people together through gardening and community projects.
Exactly. It can create jobs, provide valuable job training, boost local economies, strengthen community bonds, and even revitalize neglected urban spaces.
Right. Urban farms can help address climate change, reduce our environmental footprint, and make cities more sustainable.
Yes. And then there are the environmental benefits, too.
It's almost like a win-win-win situation.
It really is. Urban farms can reduce food waste, mitigate the urban heat island effect, and even improve air quality. It's a multifaceted approach to creating healthier, more sustainable communities.
So we've got funding for projects, experts on the ground, and a whole range of benefits. It's starting to sound like the USDA is building a whole ecosystem to support urban agriculture.
Yeah.
But how can everyday people like our listeners actually tap into all of this?
You're right. The USDA has a truly impressive network of support in place. We're talking financial aid, technical guidance, even assistance with marketing and selling your products.
Wow.
And the best part is there are programs specifically designed for individuals and small groups, regardless of their experience level.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So I could theoretically get funding and support from the USDA to start a small urban farm right in my own neighborhood.
You absolutely could. Let's break down some of these incredible resources.
Okay, I'm all ears. This is where it gets really interesting.
Starting with financial assistance. When it comes to financing, the USDA offers a variety of farm loans, including microloans that are specifically designed for smaller scale urban farms.
Microloans.
Yep. They even have loans to help you set up things like cold storage facilities,
Well,
so you can keep your produce fresh and extend your selling season.
that's amazing. I always assumed farm loans were for those sprawling rural farms,
Right.
not someone trying to grow food in their city backyard.
That's a common misconception. The USDA recognizes that urban agriculture often operates on a smaller scale and needs different financial tools to succeed.
Oh, hey.
And it's not just about loans.
Oh.
If you're interested in going organic,
Uh-huh.
they also offer cost share assistance to help you get certified.
Wow, that's a game changer for a lot of small urban farmers who are passionate about sustainability,
Right.
but may not have the upfront capital to cover those certification costs.
Exactly. And if you need help figuring out the best time to sell your produce for the best price,
Yeah.
they even offer marketing assistance loans to help you time your sales strategically.
It's really starting to feel like the USDA wants to support urban farmers every step of the way.
Yeah.
It's not just about handing out money.
Right.
It's about providing the guidance and tools needed to build a thriving urban farm.
You hit the nail on the head, and speaking of guidance,
Okay.
the USDA has a wealth of resources beyond financial assistance.
Oh, like what?
Remember those conservation programs we mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
They offer both financial assistance and free technical expertise to help urban farmers implement sustainable practices.
So it's like having a sustainability expert on call
Yeah.
to help you make the most of your urban farm while minimizing your environmental impact.
Precisely. They can help you with everything from soil health and water conservation to integrated pest management and renewable energy solutions.
That's amazing.
And for those who are just starting out, the Cooperative Extension Service is an incredible resource.
I've heard of the cooperative extension, but to be honest, I always thought it was more for large-scale rural farms.
Yeah.
How do they actually help someone trying to grow food in the city?
That's a great question. The Cooperative Extension has offices in almost every county across the country,
Wow.
and they're staffed with experts who can provide free localized advice on everything from selecting the right crops for your climate to dealing with pests and diseases.
So it's like having a walking encyclopedia of agricultural wisdom,
Yeah.
right, in your own community, completely free of charge.
Exactly. They're a wealth of knowledge, and they're passionate about helping people succeed in agriculture, whether it's a sprawling rural farm or a few raised beds in an urban backyard.
That's awesome.
And for those who are brand new to farming, the USDA has programs specifically geared towards beginning farmers.
I can imagine how helpful that would be.
Right.
Starting an urban farm can feel pretty intimidating, especially if you don't come from a farming background.
Absolutely. These programs offer things like mentoring workshops and resources to help beginning farmers navigate those early challenges.
Okay, so let's say you've gotten your urban farm up and running. You're growing delicious food, and you're ready to share it with the community. What kind of support does the USDA offer at that stage?
Well, remember how we talked about the USDA wanting to shorten those long supply chains and bring food closer to where people live?
Yeah.
They've got some great programs to help urban farmers get their products directly into the hands of consumers.
Like what I'm picturing, farmers markets?
Yes.
Maybe some partnerships with local restaurants?
You're on the right track. The Farmers Market Promotion Program helps connect urban farmers with farmers markets and other direct-to-consumer outlets.
Okay.
And get this, you can even accept WIC and Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program benefits as payment.
That's incredible. It's like creating a virtuous cycle where everyone benefits.
Yeah.
The urban farmer gets to sell their produce, low-income families, and seniors get access to fresh, healthy food.
Right.
And the community becomes more food secure. I love it.
It's a beautiful thing to see in action.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to take your urban farm to the next level,
Okay.
maybe by turning your tomatoes into sauce or your herbs into tea blends.
They have value-added producer grants to help you get those ventures off the ground.
This is all so inspiring.
Yeah.
It really feels like the USDA has thought of everything when it comes to supporting urban agriculture.
I know, right?
But even with all this support, urban farming must come with some unique challenges, right?
You're absolutely right. Growing food in a city isn't always easy.
Yeah.
Things like limited space access to land soil contamination,
Yeah.
and even just navigating city regulations
Right.
can be real hurdles for urban farmers.
Yeah, I can imagine trying to find affordable land to farm in a city must be a real challenge,
It definitely is.
especially with property values skyrocketing in so many urban areas.
But the exciting thing is that many cities are starting to recognize the value of urban agriculture
Oh, okay.
and are adapting their policies to make it easier for people to get growing.
So, like changing the laws and stuff. Some cities are relaxing zoning restrictions to allow for urban farms in areas that were previously off limits, while others are exploring innovative ways to provide affordable land through lease agreements or by creating urban agriculture incubators that offer shared resources and mentorship.
That's a really encouraging sign.
Right.
It sounds like cities are starting to see urban agriculture as a key part of their sustainability and community development plans.
Exactly. And some cities are even integrating urban agriculture into their climate action plans, recognizing its potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, create more resilient local food systems, and even mitigate the urban heat island effect.
Okay, so we've got cities stepping up to support urban agriculture. But let's be real, a lot of this sounds pretty resource intensive.
Uh-huh.
How do we ensure that urban agriculture benefits everyone in the community,
Right.
not just those who have the money or the connections to get started?
Right. That's a crucial question, and one that the USDA and many urban agriculture advocates are keenly aware of. A lot of the work being done focuses on making urban agriculture accessible and equitable for everyone, regardless of their income background or neighborhood.
And who's leading the charge on that front?
A lot of the heavy lifting is being done by those incredible community-based organizations we talked about earlier.
Fine.
They play a vital role in bringing urban agriculture to underserved communities,
Lem-
offering workshops, training programs, and even microgrants to help aspiring urban farmers get their projects off the ground.
So it's not just about growing food.
Right.
It's about growing communities and empowering people to take control of their food systems. I love that.
And let's not forget the educational aspect.
Yeah.
Many urban farms serve as living classrooms, teaching kids about where their food comes from and connecting them to nature in a way that's often missing in urban environments.
I can only imagine how impactful it must be for kids to actually experience growing their own food,
Yeah.
especially in a city where nature can feel pretty distant.
It's transformative. And speaking of transformation, let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about the cutting edge of urban agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier, we touched on innovative growing techniques like hydroponics and aquaponics,
Uh-huh.
but there's a whole world of exciting advancements happening in this field.
Oh, I know. It's like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It really is.
I've seen pictures of those incredible vertical farms with stacks of crops growing under LED lights. It looks so futuristic.
It's truly mind-blowing how technology is being used to push the boundaries of urban agriculture. Vertical farms are a great example. They allow you to grow a lot of food in a very small space, making them ideal for densely populated urban areas.
That makes sense. But I'm wondering about the energy consumption.
Yeah,
All those LED lights must require a lot of electricity, right?
that's a valid concern and one that a lot of vertical farm developers are working to address.
Okay.
They're constantly innovating to find ways to reduce their energy footprint,
Right.
like using renewable energy sources or developing more energy-efficient lighting systems.
That's good.
And the benefits of vertical farming go beyond just space efficiency.
Okay.
They also allow you to create controlled environments that optimize growing conditions year-round, regardless of the weather outside.
So you could theoretically grow fresh strawberries in the middle of winter, even in a city like Chicago. That's pretty amazing.
It really is, and by precisely controlling the growing environment, urban farmers can minimize water and fertilizer use, reduce waste, and even grow crops that might not typically thrive in their local climate.
It almost sounds too good to be true, but I have to ask,
What's that?
are these high-tech systems accessible to the average person?
Yeah?
Or is it mostly large corporations who are investing in this kind of technology?
That's a great question, and one that highlights the importance of making these advancements accessible to everyone, while there are definitely large-scale vertical farms being developed.
Yeah.
There's also a growing movement towards smaller, more affordable systems that can be used by individuals, community groups, or even restaurants who want to grow their own produce on site.
Oh, cool.
It's an exciting area to watch.
So it's not just about mega farms.
Right.
It's about bringing this technology to the community level. and empowering people to grow their own food in new and innovative ways.
Precisely. And the innovation doesn't stop there.
Right.
They're
So,
seeing fascinating developments in areas like data analytics and artificial intelligence, which are being used to optimize growing conditions, predict crop yields, and even personalize food production based on individual needs and preferences.
wait, personalized food production, what does that even mean?
Imagine a future where your urban farm can tailor its output to your specific dietary needs, allergies, or taste preferences.
Wow.
It's like having a personal chef who grows exactly what you want to eat.
That's incredible. It sounds like we're moving towards a future where technology can actually help us create a more sustainable and personalized food system.
Yeah.
But with any new technology, there are bound to be challenges and ethical considerations. How do we ensure that these advancements are accessible and affordable to everyone
Right.
and not just a privilege for a select few?
That's a crucial question. And we also need to consider the potential impacts on jobs and traditional farming practices.
Okay.
As technology plays a larger role in urban agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to have conversations about how to ensure a just and equitable transition that benefits everyone.
It sounds like we're at a pivotal moment in the evolution of urban agriculture, where we need to carefully consider the role of technology
Yeah.
and ensure that it's used to create a more sustainable and equitable food system for everyone.
Absolutely. Urban agriculture is no longer just a trend.
Right.
It's a vital part of building a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable food system for the 21st century.
So, as we move into the final part of our deep dives,
Yeah.
let's shift our focus to the personal. How can each of us listening right now actually get involved in this exciting movement? It feels like there's a lot of momentum building, and I want to know how I can be a part of it. I'm like already feeling inspired to get more involved with urban agriculture just after learning about all of these incredible initiatives and innovations.
Yeah.
But
What's up?
I have to admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed
Okay.
by the sheer scale of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we even begin?
I get it. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture and feel like you need a rooftop greenhouse or a degree in botany to make a difference. But that's simply not true. There are countless ways to get involved with urban agriculture, no matter where you live or what your skills and interests are.
So you're saying I don't need to quit my job and become a full-time urban farmer to contribute to this movement?
Not at all. Sometimes the simplest actions can have the biggest impact.
Okay.
Start by supporting your local urban farmers. Seek out farmers markets in your city and buy directly from the people who are growing food in your community.
That's something I can definitely do.
Yes.
I love going to farmers markets anyway. But I never really thought about it as a way to actively support urban agriculture.
It's a powerful way to vote with your dollars and invest in a more sustainable and localized food system. And while you're there, strike up a conversation with the farmers.
Okay.
Ask them about their growing practices, what challenges they face, and what you can do to support them. You might be surprised by what you learn and the connections you make.
I love that idea. It's about building relationships and becoming a conscious consumer. And for those of us who want to get a little more hands-on,
Yeah.
what are some other options?
Well, if you have even a tiny bit of outdoor space, container gardening is a fantastic way to start growing your own food. You'd be amazed at how much you can grow in a few pots on a balcony patio or even just a sunny windowsill.
I've actually been wanting to try container gardening.
Do it.
What are some good crops for beginners?
Herbs are a great place to start. They're relatively easy to grow, and they don't require a ton of space. Tomatoes, peppers, and even some leafy greens can also do well in containers. The Cooperative Extension Office in your area can provide you with advice on the best crops for your specific climate and growing conditions.
That's good to know. And for those of us who are really limited on space,
Right.
or just want to be part of a larger community effort, there's always community gardens.
Absolutely. Community gardens are a wonderful way to connect with like-minded people, learn from experienced gardeners, and contribute to a shared green space that benefits the entire neighborhood. And, many community gardens donate a portion of their produce to local food banks or shelters.
So you're not just growing food for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're helping address food insecurity in your community as well. That's a win-win.
Exactly. And if you're not much of a gardener, there are still plenty of ways to get involved. Many urban farms and community gardens rely heavily on volunteers for tasks like weeding, planting, harvesting, and even marketing and outreach.
I could definitely see myself volunteering at a local urban farm.
Yeah.
It would be a great way to learn new skills, connect with my community, and contribute to something meaningful.
And if you're passionate about policy and advocacy, You can get involved on that level as well to connect with local organizations that are working to promote urban agriculture policies or educate policymakers about the benefits of this movement.
That's a great point. It's not enough to just grow food.
Right.
We need to create policies that support and encourage urban agriculture on a larger scale.
Exactly. Your voice and your actions can make a real difference in shaping the future of our food systems.
Wow.
And don't underestimate the power of education. Spread the word about urban agriculture to your friends, family, and neighbors. Share articles, documentaries, or even just your own experiences growing food in the city. The more people understand the importance of this movement, the more support it will gain.
You know what's really striking me is that urban agriculture isn't just about growing food.
Huh?
It's about growing community, fostering resilience, and creating a more sustainable and just food system for everyone.
Yeah.
It's about reconnecting with nature, even in the midst of the urban jungle.
Beautifully said. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of urban agriculture, we leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me.
What role do you want to play in this exciting movement?
What seeds will you plant? What connections will you make? And what impact will you create in your own community? The future of urban agriculture is quite literally in your hands. Get out there and start growing.
And don't forget to check out the show notes for links to all the resources we've discussed today. Happy growing, everyone.